chair.
You know, I sometimes feel like being creative is actually one of those things which is appreciated a little too much today. Like in the olden days, when there was someone who's creative, they would do music or writing, but there's very few people who actually made a go of it. This seems to kind of set a standard in our society where, typically speaking, you think that people who have actual, jobs and actual careers are, more contributing more to society. But this kind of seems to have all turned around recently, whereas now everyone is a wannabe artist. And you see posts all the time from artists talking about how people don't respect them enough and how they need a lot more money.
We want more money. Yeah, more money.
And I kind of understand it. Like, it's not fair for artists to be assumed that just because they do creative work, they shouldn't get paid. And there are a lot of people that assume that, but at the same time, artists are getting a little stuck up recently. In fact, pretty much every creative type is getting a little stuck up. So today I thought I'd combat that with this video, why being creative sucks. Now, being creative sucks for a lot of reasons. Time, money, more time,
more money.
But to truly understand why being creative sucks so much, I have to take you through the 5 stages of being an artist. Stage 1, the dream child. As a kid, being creative is pretty awesome. If you had any kind of talent whatsoever, whether it was music, singing, drawing, you can bet that everyone would be all over you telling you, oh, you're gonna be so big when you grow up because you're gonna do all this art stuff. Honestly, I kind of feel sorry for the kids who don't have any natural artistic talent. But hey, I guess at least they still have sports. The odd epidemic is that around 15 or 16, there's this odd shift and suddenly everyone's encouraging you not to be artistic. I mean, they're fine with you being creative or whatever, but don't go to college for that or anything, because
that's not a real job.
Most of these kids then grow up to go to school to learn something like accounting or advertising, basically something that they can justify to their parents going to college for, and then proceed to waste 2 to 4 years of their life in a college classroom learning how to do stuff that they're gonna hate for the rest of their life. Which brings me to the second stage of an artist's life, the self-doubt stage. Self-doubt is one of those things which really gets to you really quickly. Around the time that you start understanding how films, music, all that kind of stuff that you enjoy is made, as a creative you kind of get this drive to do it for yourself. I remember back in the day when we wanted to make films, it was incredibly difficult because you couldn't match up to what you were seeing on screen in the films you were watching. You couldn't even hope to. And it's hard as a kid to kind of have that mindset of, oh, eventually in the future I'm going to be able to, because as a kid, tomorrow is your future, that you can't see past a couple days. If you can't do something right now, in your mind, you're never gonna be able to. As you get older, however, obviously, you slowly save up a little bit of money, you're able to buy some gear, you slowly get better, but as you do, it's a classic thing where you see the more you progress, the less you know. Or so it kind of seems like. You always are gonna have people that are better than you, and as a younger artist, that can be a pretty big struggle. As a kid growing up, there was no one else who is creative besides me. But whether you're doing something complicated like recording music, or if it's just something simple like writing or drawing, you get to the point where you suddenly realize that honestly, it doesn't seem like there's much future, like you're at a dead end. Which afterwards, around 18 to 20, you kind of enter the third stage, the starving artist stage. It's the classic stage that most artists who are kind of in that mid-level go through. The fact of the matter is, pursuing a creative career, even if it's something super rewarding like animation, video editing, something that requires a lot of technical stuff, getting into those careers can be a long, hard grind. So while you're not established, if you're going to be trying to shoot for something like that, you're going to be pretty broke for a while. Naturally, this leads to a lot of anxiety. You're dealing with having to be an adult and do bills and everything while pursuing whatever it is you want to do. Whether it's you're in a band, you're making video stuff, you're trying to get into Hollywood, whatever it happens to be. So a lot of people seem to think that going to film school or an art school somehow bypasses this. It don't. I don't want to talk down college. As a younger kid, I always believed that it was completely useless. Now that I've known some people who have actually gone, I understand kind of the benefits of being in an environment where you're actually learning and where you're around people who are also interested in the same things that you are. Gives you a lot more connections, kind of gives you a head start. However, the fact of the matter is, college really isn't worth it considering you still have to do 90% of the work yourself. Most of the people who succeed at doing their creative stuff we're going to succeed with or without college. So maybe think about that before you invest $20,000 into it. Just a suggestion. Anywho, this is where most of artists branch off into two categories. Either they stop being creative altogether, which is arguably the better choice. I mean, let's be honest, there's actually probably more money in fields that don't rely on your motivation. For those creatives who actually stick to it and are able to fight through this, they reach stage 4, which is what I like to call the Snooty stage. This is where most artists and creative types become real, if you'll pardon my French. A lot of artists have this kind of weird mental thing going on once they start being a little bit successful. Part of it is the feeling of success, like, yeah, I've done it. Looking back on the people who said, no, you can't do that because you don't have enough talent. It's a good feeling to be successful at something that you work so hard on. But a lot of these artists seem to go through kind of a weird stage where they suddenly think the world of themselves. You'll see post after post on Twitter about how the world didn't believe in them, their families didn't believe in them, but oh man, they sure did it anyway. That showed them alright. I'm not gonna say they don't deserve this or that they didn't earn their success. 90% of creative people have to go through years and years of struggle to even get good at what they're doing, much less be successful with it. And obviously most creative people, once they are successful, are suddenly in the limelight where, what do you know, people don't like them because they're successful. And yes, most of these are people who could never do this themselves in real life. The thing of the matter is though, creative people wouldn't have much if it weren't for the ordinary people. I mean, you can look down on them all you want to, but the fact of the matter is, people who work 9-to-5 jobs, people who work the jobs that no one else wants to, they're the people that are keeping society running. And recognizing this makes artists realize that the real reason they're successful as artists is because there are people who want something more. That sense of living life over and over day by day and not seeing any kind of difference in the future. There being no hope for any kind of change, no plans for the future, no nothing. For a lot of these people, the art that these creative types make is their escape, whether it's films, music. Quite honestly, common people feel art so that artists can feel the common people. Which leads them to the final stage, stage 5, the grateful artist. A lot of people you see being successful for more than a few years go on to be really wholesome artists. It's these people who understand how they got to where they are and what it takes to stay there. They're people who don't look down on the common people, but instead look to them for inspiration. Gosh, this is so cheesy. What the heck am I talking about? As cringy as wholesome stuff like that is, it's kind of true when it comes to creative people. It's a very long, hard grind, but in the end, is it worth it? No, it's really not. Just go get a normal job, kids. You'll be so much happier, it's so much easier. Save this YouTube stuff for those dumb nerds. Bye bye. Hey guys, check out some of my other videos and subscribe.